Do you still insist that you're innocent?
Absolutely.
You're sitting here a wrongfully convicted person.
Correct. Absolutely.
That is Melanie McGuire, who is still trying to prove her alleged innocence, even after 15 years. Her crime? Chopping the body of her husband into pieces, putting the body parts in 3 different suitcases and throwing them into the river. Nothing about this case is normal. What Miss McGuire did to her husband is sickening to many, so stick around, only if you have a brave heart. Born in 1972, Melanie McGuire went to Rutgers with a double major in math and psychology, and graduated in 1994. Later, she graduated from the Charles E. Gregory School of Nursing in 1997 with a nursing diploma. The two were living like any other normal couple. Both of them were doing well. In April of 2004, Bill and Melanie were married for 5 years. With their 2 sons, the couple was living in an apartment at the time. It wasn't going to stay the same as they bought a $500,000 home in Woodbridge, New Jersey, and planned to move there in a month. However, that would never happen. According to Melanie, they had a very tumultuous relationship almost right away. They would get into fights frequently. One such fight that turned out to be very bad, they were arguing about the house. Bill wanted to move to Virginia Beach and was upset that they settled on a house. She said Bill smacked her with an open hand and shoved a dryer sheet in her mouth. She said it wasn't the first time he had hit her. Bill went missing after that very fight with his wife. At the same time, the suitcases started showing up all over the coastal areas. On May 5, 2004, a few fishermen were out on their boat. They noticed a dark-colored suitcase floating in the water. According to an interview, one of the fishermen said they decided to pull it up and that it was very heavy. They probably thought they had struck gold. However, they found human legs wrapped in black garbage bags. It was instantly reported to the police. On May 11th, a student on Fisherman's Island also found a dark-colored suitcase, and there was a smell of decomposition. She didn't open it, but it was sent to the medical examiner. This suitcase contained a torso and a head. The torso had 2 bullet wounds. The third and last suitcase was found on the beach on May 16th, and it contained the arms of the same person. It was a very weird crime case, and even the police were confused who could commit it. A gunshot victim in 3 suitcases sounds like a gangland killing, at least to the layman. Police also thought the person could be in the military, since Virginia Beach has a large military base nearby. They then had someone do a composite sketch and then released it to the public so people could recognize the person. Not too long after, the police got a tip from some of Bill McGuire's friends that the sketch looked like their friend Bill. Police found out there were surgical cuts on the body, which indicated someone with medical training had committed the crime, not a thug off the streets. And crime scene technicians found something else, a hospital blanket inside one of those cases. Detectives did a little checking and quickly discovered Bill McGuire's wife was a nurse. Since Melanie lived in New Jersey, the Virginia police had to turn their investigation over to the New Jersey State Police. They found evidence against Melanie almost instantly. Melanie also had Bill's body cremated right away, and according to Bill's friends, his funeral lasted about 10 to 15 minutes. Now that is one funeral everyone would love to attend. It's important to note that on April 26, 2004, Melanie bought a gun in Easton, Pennsylvania. According to the receipt, it was a .38 caliber with some wad cutter bullets, the same bullets found in Bill's torso. The gun shop owner was interviewed, and he said he remembered Melanie because not a lot of women purchase guns. He also remembered that she filled out a form that said she was a nurse. When asked if she owned matching luggage that was now missing, her reply was no. But she did tell the detective her husband's missing car might be in Atlantic City, and that's just where detectives later found the victim's blue 2002 Nissan Maxima. The car was found outside of a motel called the Flamingo Motel. According to Melanie, Bill had a gambling problem and would go to Atlantic City all the time. She gave the police a hint that Bill could be involved with bad people, and they killed him after running into some bad debts. However, police recovered some security footage of Melanie moving Bill's car. They said that Melanie got into the passenger side and that she had an accomplice, which they couldn't see on the security tape. They also found her Easy Pass tags that recorded her driving to Delaware 2 days after Bill's murder. She tried to get that charge removed, and so did her accomplice, whom police believed was her stepfather. Melanie's story was starting to contradict. The next big thing was the suitcases. You see, the suitcases in which the body parts were found were Kenneth Cole, and it was a set of 3. Remember Melanie saying she didn't own such luggage? Well, later she told police that she had, in fact, owned matching Kenneth Cole luggage. They also found fibers on Bill's body that matched the sofa that the McGuires had, which had gone missing. It was a changing story that was full of hard-to-believe coincidences. When asked where Bill's clothes were, Melanie said she'd given them to a friend. Police later found them, eventually still in the bags Melanie had packed. Black plastic trash bags, just like those found with Bill McGuire's remains. There was one last piece of evidence to make her look guilty. Melanie was also having an affair with a doctor at her fertility clinic. His name was Dr. Bradley Miller, and their affair began when she was pregnant with her second son. Melanie had told her lover, Dr. Miller, she'd been shopping for furniture in Delaware, not far from the Chesapeake Bay, one day before the first suitcase surfaced there. The evidence police had looked damning all the same. A missing gun, trash bags, strange trips, bullets, a blanket. What exactly did it all add up to? And would it all end with an arrest? After 8 months of painstaking investigation, police finally made their move. They arrested Melanie McGuire and charged her with the murder of her husband, Bill. She pleaded not guilty. She was released on bail and was charged again a year later, on October 26, 2006, this time with 2 counts of hindering apprehension. She allegedly wrote letters to the police trying to get the blame off of her. She was caught on a CCTV camera entering a pharmacy to buy an American Express gift card that was later used to mail a package to prosecutors. The package contained a letter suggesting McGuire had been framed for murder. She finally went to trial in 2007. Melanie was vilified in the media. They said she seemed very relaxed and was often joking with her attorneys while they had breaks in the trial. The prosecutors started with the gun. They argued that the defendant only told friends about the gun after Bill's death, and even then her story shifted. She told some friends it was Bill who wanted the gun. Another friend was told that it was she who wanted it as protection against Bill. Evidence after evidence suggested she was as guilty as a child with her hand trapped in the cookie jar. Oh, I remember Dr. Miller, the secret lover. He even testified against her. In fact, he was the last piece of evidence required to convince the jury she was guilty. He told the judge they had a 3-year relationship and even said he received oral sex from her when they first got together.
You described to the jury what was your relationship with her?
We worked together. She was an excellent nurse. She took very good care of the patients. They all loved her.
Sir, did there come a time when your relationship with Miss McGuire got more intimate?
It was towards the end of her second pregnancy. She was about 38 weeks pregnant. And before she went on maternity leave, we had oral sex in the office.
This is when Melanie lost her cool and looked awfully uncomfortable. There was also evidence that Melanie took a page from Dr. Miller's prescription pad and forged his signature for a knockout drug that she gave to Bill. Melanie found out that Dr. Miller was working with police to get her to confess over their phone calls. The police were recording Melanie's phone calls and had recordings of over 500 of her calls. Yikes. Everything came back to bite her in the butt. They played a few calls, and a few times she was even joking about killing Bill, and it seemed like she had no emotion over the fact that her husband was dead, obviously. On April 23, 2007, Melanie was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was also found guilty of perjury, the desecration of human remains, and possessing of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. At just the age of 34, she was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole after her 100th birthday. Almost 15 years have now passed since Melanie McGuire's conviction. She is now a 48-year-old inmate at the Edna Main Correctional Facility in Clinton, New Jersey, where she claims that she's not only innocent, but also the real killer is still out there. Melanie has exhausted all of her appeals at this point and is expected to spend the rest of her life in prison. When recently asked if she still insisted that she was innocent, she replied, "Absolutely." Melanie has been nicknamed the Suitcase Killer. Unsurprisingly, some people do think Melanie is innocent. Melanie says she has hope that an explosive new podcast, Direct Appeal, could help exonerate her. Let's see how that goes. What do you think about this crime story? Does Melanie McGuire seem innocent to you? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for your regular dose of whodunits. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, and don't get any crazy ideas.